Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Gear Raffle and review. Today we're going to look at ULA's CDT Ultralight Backpack. So, let's get right into it.
Ooh, super hot coffee.
Yummy. Alright guys, today we're going to take a look at ULA's CDT model backpack. I think it's their lightest version of their ultralight backpacks. I have so much to talk about with this pack. I got a chance to test it for a good solid week. There's so many things I love. There's so many things I don't like. So I'm going to try to keep this video short and sweet and cut it up, and boom, 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 we're going to go right through everything. But before we get into that, guys, if you're new to the Gear Raffle, visit my Patreon site, and for as little as $1 a month, you can get entered in every single Gear Raffle that I do. And for all of you patrons, this is the last of the big 3 items that I've been reviewing, so it's time to get in those suggestions for the next big item to review. So, leave it in the comments below. What do you guys want to see me do next? All right, first impressions with the pack. And it was something I was a little bit concerned with when I first got it, is there is absolutely no support, no framework, no nothing. It's completely frameless, which allows this pack to be super, super light. Website says this pack comes in at about 24 ounces. But who trusts them guys? So we're going to put it on the scale. Stinker. This may be difficult. So, how can I get this? Show it! Aha! Going to weigh a stuff sack at 4.8 ounces. And then I'm going to stuff the pack. Genius! And we get 31.8, which is 27 ounces. Anyways, not quite sure why. I think that's because there's so many different options. I actually opted for instead of the cinch top, I've got the roll top, so that's going to add a little bit of extra weight with the clips and stuff. And you can get different shoulder straps. I mean, obviously, with the different hip belts and different sizes, you're going to have a little bit different weight. But still, 27 ounces for this pack is super light because, well, there's no frame. Onward. After going over this pack, I noticed that the stitching on the pack looks very, very flimsy almost. And I noticed it when I was packing the pack, how the stitches almost seem to stretch and almost seem to be pulling apart. But I used the whole pack for an entire week, and everything held up really well. Except for, and this is a little weird thing I noticed, except for the, I'm going to get this a little closer. Except for these little clips at the top that hold your trekking poles in. As you can see, that may be too close. As you can see, this is actually, the stitching is pulled out of there. It should be like this one here, and this one seems to be pretty good. Now, they're just to put your trekking pole in and cinch up. And that's what they have at the bottom of the pack. And they're sewed in very nice at the bottom of the pack. And everything seems to work pretty well. I didn't notice any problem except for this one pulling out. I'm sure if you called the company and said, hey, this pulled out. And I mean, I'm going to be returning the pack anyways. So, this pulled out. I need it fixed. I'm sure they would fix it. The customer service, I'm sure, would be fine with that. The thing that I don't understand is if you look on their website under their CDT pack, the trekking pole straps are adjustable like this at the bottom, but then at the top they just have a piece of Velcro. And that was one of my complaints with this pack, is trying to get the trekking poles in here. You have to kind of force them through on one side and then back up through. Whereas if there was just a piece of Velcro, that would make it much easier. And the picture on the website shows that at the top it's just a piece of Velcro. Not sure. I'd have to contact them and ask them why it's not the way it is. Maybe this is an old feature. Maybe it's a new feature. I think they should go back with the Velcro if they've changed to this. But that was one thing that I wasn't excited about, is how these worked and how they actually broke on this pack and why it wasn't the Velcro that you see in the picture. Another thing I saw at the very beginning was this pack comes with, and they were in on here, these little loops with that clip into the shoulder strap, and they're thumb catches. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, are you serious? Thumb catches to hold your thumbs up in the air? That is retarded. First thought. Now, this is because, here, let's get into a little conversation here. This is because I didn't have really any experience with ultralight backpacking, and there's going to be a decent discussion about that in this video. Like I said, this video is going to come out a little bit long. So what I didn't notice was that with ultralight backpacking, and this is after my 100-mile week-long with Lucky, because you're not carrying as much weight, I didn't rely as much on my trekking poles, and I actually was hanging my trekking poles up more often. Back to why I didn't really like their system of holding the trekking poles. But without using trekking poles, if you're walking a long distance, and I noticed that we had a 23-mile day, when you're walking a long distance and your arms are swinging without trekking poles, my fingers swelled up to the point where I couldn't even, and you can see how easy my ring goes on and off my finger. I couldn't even get the ring off of my finger. And this was after, 5 or 6 hours of walking, swinging my arms. Never have I ever thought about that. And I'm thinking that's why there's thumb catches. A lot of people that are ultralight backpacking are actually doing away with the trekking poles, because without that much weight on your back, and if you're a slimmer person with not very much weight, you don't have as much pounding on your joints anyways, and you're more apt to not need to use trekking poles. And if you're hiking for a long distance, your arms swinging, those straps allow you to catch your thumbs in here and walk with your thumb, kind of like putting your thumbs underneath your shoulder straps, but in a little bit more of a comfortable position, and keep your arms from dangling and keep your hands from swelling up. Mind blown completely. Never thought about that. So that's kind of cool. If I was to get an ultralight pack, I may consider actually using those, because I wasn't using my trekking pole so much. Woo! A couple features that I love about this pack is hip belt pockets that are huge. You can fit a ton of stuff in these hip belt pockets, and I love that about this pack, because a lot of packs fall short with hip belt pockets. They don't realize that I want to stuff as much stuff as I can in there. I want to be able to put my phone and my snacks, and if I'm doing a day hike, my keys, and I want to be able to load those pockets up as much as possible so it's accessible without having to take my pack off. And like I said, a lot of packs fall short. There is so much room in the hip belt pockets of this pack. It's awesome. That leads me to the size of this pack overall, and I'll get you a little bit of specifics. We're talking a 50-liter capacity. Now that's going to throw a lot of people off, because the main body it's about 17 liters in the main body. People see the 50 on there and think that they can put a lot more in it. This is not that big. 50 liters altogether, because it has that plus another 4 liters for the mesh pocket, and 3 for each side pocket, and the extended collar is another 4. And I'm not sure I'm getting all these right. I'm trying to glance and still look here, but it's not all going to be 50 liters in that main pocket. It's just because you can put things a lot of other places. Getting to those other places, the back mesh pocket is awesome. Really stretchy material, a little bit breathable. I'd like to see this mesh actually more open and more breathable, so that you could potentially have some stuff drying in there. And just maybe a little bit more flexible, but it is good, and you can fit a lot of things in there. I'm nitpicking on thinking that I'd like to see that even bigger. The side pockets are huge, absolutely huge. And at first I was like, stuff's gonna fall out. They're huge, and they've got a little drawstring to tighten them up around your water bottles, or anything else that you want to put in there. I think the majority of this pack was designed so well with flexibility in mind. They're huge pockets, but they can be cinched closed. This pocket is stretchable, but you can it still hugs tight if you don't put anything in there. So as far as the functionality of that goes, it's really, really good. One thing that I didn't like about this pack, and that is as far as compression straps, you have this one compression strap in the middle and none down any farther, and you also don't have anything up any higher except for the way that the top compresses. And I'll be able to insert some video and give you a better demonstration. It's hard for me to do with this here. But what I didn't like about it was this pack seems to fit everything a little bit low on my back, and I want to carry things up a little bit higher because I'm used to carrying a lot more weight and I'm used to wanting to carry it higher. I noticed along the trail using this pack more and actually after eating some food and getting my weight down a little bit, it carries a little better. But I want to be able to compress the bottom of the pack, bringing my weight up a little bit higher so that it's a little more comfortable for me to carry. But really the solution is this pack is not meant to carry very much weight. It's just not. You know, you're going to want to be maxing out at about 18 pounds in this pack. That's total weight, food, and water. This is not a pack to be carrying anything over that. I carried fully weighed down at 25 pounds, which I thought was stinking super light. And for me, it is. But that's too much for this pack to carry comfortably. Now, I was able to carry it and everything held up pretty good. I wouldn't stress any more than that, and I think 25 pounds is too much. 20 pounds is about max, I would think, for this. You're going to start getting pretty uncomfortable like I did. So I think that it could use a better compression system, and on some of their other packs, they have the zigzag paracord compression on the sides. Now, that I think is a better system. I'd like to see them incorporate that into this, but really, with this pack, with the no frame, no structure to it at all, the best thing you can do to make this comfortable is you're just not going to carry that much in it. You just don't want to carry very much weight. 18 or less is your best case scenario. I can go on for days about everything that I learned when it came to how ultralight backpacking is completely different than what I'm used to. And the way that you pack the pack is so crucial, and not having things in stuff sacks, and I jam my sleeping bag in the back of it to give it a little bit of cushion, as opposed to having my sleeping bag actually in a sack. But this isn't about ultralight backpacking. This is about this pack. So I want to kind of keep it on that. Okay, to the roll top closure. Now, I didn't opt to have the standard cinch top. I wanted to see what the roll top was all about. And I actually met somebody else on the trail that was using it a different way that kind of helped out. But I was expecting the closure to actually come straight down. But because the clip is actually in the back of the pack, when you put this closure here, when you tighten it, it pulls everything onto the top. And like I said, I'll put in some pictures to give you a better idea. I was thinking it would be better to compress your gear as if that was pulled straight down, as opposed to pulled back. It allows you to have this bubble in the back. So I think that that's a little bit of a flaw in the closure system on this. But creatively packing your pack, you'll be able to really easily work around that. And that's what I found. I packed this pack 4 different ways before I found the way that I think it worked best for me. On your shoulder straps, you've got these nifty little, it's for holding like water bottles and stuff. Again, along with the thumb catches, I thought, I've always kept my water bottle back here. Things are awesome. I used them every single day while I was out hiking. It's another thing that I've learned. I want to incorporate this kind of thing into my everyday packs that I use for hiking, because it is so convenient to have your water bottle here. It's easier to get to. You're going to drink more often. You'll stay more hydrated. It's just really, really nice to have that convenient. It does have an access for having an internal water bladder inside of this pack. And inside there is a little bit of a pouch here. But in my opinion, I don't see ever using a water bladder with this pack unless you were doing maybe a day hike and didn't have any other gear in it. Because it can't hold weight very well or very comfortable, you're not going to put 2 liters of extra water in it. When I was hiking with this, I had 1 liter of water on my front, or 1 liter or less, as I was hiking to drink, and then I would camel up. I'd drink a bunch of water at the water sources and not carry it, because this is not meant to carry a lot of weight. So you have to kind of weigh those options. I don't think I would ever use an internal bladder with this pack. Bottom line, guys, there was so many things that I liked about this pack and so many things I didn't, but it mainly was because this is an advanced pack for someone that is doing some ultralight hiking. And a lot of people use ultralight as a general term for light backpacking now. It's not. Ultralight is very, very light hike. I'm talking people with a 6-pound base weight, you're not going to want to put a lot of weight in this. If you're just starting to dabble into lightweight backpacking, then you're going to want to get something that still has a framework in it that allows you to comfortably carry 25 pounds. Like I was at 25 pounds. I didn't need to have something this light because I would have gladly used a heavier pack that had some structure to it that could more comfortably carry those 25 pounds. Even if I had to gain an extra 5 pounds and be carrying 30, but to carry it in something with a structure, something with a frame that could make it more comfortable, I would have carried 30 rather than the 25 in this pack. This pack is just not meant for that. So that's something that you should know, is that this is only for that ultra lightweight. You want to be 18 pounds or less even would be better, and that's with your food and your water. So maybe it'd work better for shorter trips for people, or be a great day hiking bag with the options of getting into that ultralight backpacking. Enough of my blabber. It is time for the moment that you've all been waiting for, the raffle. Drum roll, please. And the winner of the CDT Ultralight Backpack from ULA is Christian Lind. I am going to butcher that. Christian Lind, I think. You are the winner of the Ultralight Backpack. Congratulations. That's my 2 cents on ULA's CDT Ultralight Backpack. Key is this is an ultra light backpack. But like always, guys, these reviews are just my opinion, and if you don't like it, you can go take a hike. Bye-bye. Lind. What's the H for? Fantastic. I like it, I dig it, I want more of it.